we will publish the recording of this call. This call is being recorded, so we can publish it later, and anyone who's missed that can just watch it later. So hi everyone, and thanks for joining in. My name is Eitan. I'm leading the ecosystem development in B.Protocol. And this specific community call is all about growth. We had Beep number 4, I think, was it 4 or 5, that funded the Growth Squad, kind of a first time experiment that we did with the DAO funds, trying to put some funds dedicated for growth and marketing, and basically spreading the news about what B.Protocol is all about among the wider DeFi community. And in this call, the Growth Squad members who are with us, Atom, Ramaruro, and Tragedy Struck, will present what has been done during these 3 months, a few lessons learned, and some next steps, suggestions or recommendations according to the things that been done and that we've learned together. I'll say I'm not part of the squad itself. I did kind of supported it, as everything is kind of new, and we learn as we go. So yeah. So I'm muting myself. And Adam, are you presenting?
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen real quick. So hold on 1 second. Let me get it going. All right. Can you guys see my screen currently?
Yeah, so good.
All right, excellent. All right, do you want to start Tragedy Struck, and then I'll lead in on the last 3?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, the names of the squad members and Aitan has been helping out this first. So yeah, this is a summary, a slide from the a presentation we did in the start of the squad work, I guess 3-month period, and this was sort of we weren't completely sure what we were doing, but we set out some different sectors we might try to allocate some B-Pro spending on. And in this case, for example, influencers, 25% is 5,000 B-Pro. And this was sort of some of the avenues we wanted to try with the squad funds. Yeah, I guess you can move on. So this is a slide about what we did throughout the 3-month period. So in the beginning, there was well, I guess more time than expected that was required to set up the collaboration between us. So the squad is 3 members, and I guess Aitan helped out as well, and that came down to 4 different time zones. So that was a bit of a challenge at times, but we also cover more time zones, I guess. And we ended up doing regular video calls to kind of sync in on what we were doing and set expectations and what to focus on. And we also landed on using Trello as a dashboard for issues and tasks, and yeah, progressing through the stages. So
Tragedy, I will just say, this is kind of, building a new team out of scratch. So it kind of, it's legit. I think that it takes time, to put down the infrastructure for the new team to kind of work together. So I think it's fine that these things takes time. Definitely, in a DAO and where people have other commitments as well in other places. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, also obviously feel free to shoot in any questions, and I guess we have time at the end as well for some Q&A. So and then sort of I feel like the next stage was reaching out to I think one of the main avenues we tried during this period was reaching out to influencers. And We reached out to a lot of different ones, and our main take is just that it's really, really hard to get their attention and get a response at all. Way harder than I expected, and I think the other members as well. But then we spent some time getting in touch with some options we found for rewarding community members. So we were looking at Coordinate, which we've sort of experienced as well through the Creator DAO, which we'll discuss a bit later, and Rabbit Hole. And I think for Rabbit Hole, the problem was they had a backlog of a lot of projects, and yeah, there was a long queue to get into the Rabbit Hole. I think it's pending. And Coordinate, I think we've done a lot of internal discussion around using it, and we should open up that discussion as well. And we've thought about it for the next period, which we'll probably cover a bit later. And we ended up collaborating with most of our efforts were put towards collaborating with the influencers and content creators, I would say. And Creator DAO, definitely one of the big ones. And they generated a lot of different content for us: interviews, tweets, memes, videos, explainers, yeah, threads, some great Twitter threads. And generally, we got a lot out of that collaboration, I think. Got a lot of content. And then I think we've had some discussions around the reach of the content, because I mean, you can produce a lot of content, but you also need to get it out there. So that's one of the thinking points, I guess, with that interaction. But overall, a great experience collaborating with them. And then we did, this is just a short recap. I think there are some more, but DeFi Pulse, one of them. Some newsletters, and Crypto Voice for a YouTube channel. I know we did some other Twitter interactions as well, with some, I guess at least some chill kind of Twitter influencers, and yeah, we had some different experiences there. I guess you can move on from this slide. So a bit about the outcome, and I think I can just summarize some of this. We start out with about 600 users, and you said 30 of those were Liquidity, so mostly V1 users, B.Protocol V1, and then a few V2 users. And the end result is we have about the same amount of V1 users, slight increase, and then several more V2 users. Yeah, and at the end of the period, we've also added the 100 finance V2 integration was added. So I'm not sure about the number of depositors there, but there should be some there as well. And at start of the period, we set two KPIs, and one of them was for new users, 300, and that one was not hit. Yeah. And then the token holders, the start of the period, we have 1,220 token holders, and the KPI was for 1,500, and currently they're at 1,715 token holders. So a great increase there, and the KPI was hit. So yeah, we got to test the B.Protocol message out with the different content creators and just different channels, I guess. And we got a lot of content that I think can be reused and sort of and benefit the community over time as well.
And can I make a comment here?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think one of the things that may have was a little bit of an issue was this V1, V2 differentiation. So B.Protocol has like an earlier version approach and the new approach. And I think it caused a little bit of confusion in terms of what is it that we're positioning, the message, and the target communities. So I think that's one of the I think the new communities like Liquidity and 100 Finance, they saw a little faster growth, and those are the V2. I don't think people really care much about whether it's V1 or V2, but it's important on who we target, and that was a learning process. So something that we can do better in the future, I think.
I completely agree. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go on to the next slide, unless anybody else has any comments on this one. All right. And what we learned going forward from here was very important. We looked for the right message. I think we found that in democratizing liquidations. That message definitely evolved into that, though. That was kind of a process of learning how to express in a succinct way what we were trying to do for the community, which is something that I've come up against a few times talking to people who have never heard of the protocol before. And being able to do that in kind of a quick, easy way is very important. As far as getting attention in DeFi, it is really, really difficult, but it does seem to be correlated to investment partnerships with our new investors like 1KX or the Spartan Group or etc. It seemed like whenever there was a new influx of announcements for investment, that the community responded by following suit. So it seems like money follows, or excuse me, attention follows money for sure in this space. Best results come from organic marketing, i.e. random influencers choosing to plug on their own. We've actually had a couple now that have just kind of popped up out of nowhere. 333 Crypto was great. He did some videos and picked us up early and started sharing with his followers, and that was awesome. Shardy B is another example who released a little tweet spree and got some attention going in that way. So I think that just kind of allowing influencers to find us on their own and, make non-shilling, remarks or their own shilling remarks, I think is important.
Adam, may I just add a comment here?
Yeah.
I think also, for those, as we call them, organic, approach, those influencers, they didn't find us by, just by chance. I think some of that came out because of the different, efforts that you guys did, and the general effort that we do also, just to spread the news around. So as more people, I see Caesar is here with us as well on the call, are getting more news and more content about B.Protocol. We have more options for these accounts, do that kind of, for their, without actually contacting us or without no contracts and nothing and no payment. Just they do that because they hear about it from the efforts that we do intentionally. So yeah, I think that's something also to kind of
Keep in mind, yeah. Great.
remember.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. And so it's hard to measure marketing success in CT. By the way, is the main thing we found. Our KPIs didn't correlate, which I was actually kind of surprised about. I was hoping that our users would follow our token holders, but it does appear that most people are currently holding the token as opposed to using the protocol, and we need to hopefully focus on that KPI for V2 coming up. Our most important resource was definitely time, not money. All of us in different time zones and with our own lives and jobs and such going on, it's definitely time is more important than money in this space when it comes to coordinating across the globe. Shill style posts had little effect. I still maintain that meme coins and utility tokens should be marketed differently. It seems like finding the B-Pro meme is less important than giving the market an actual utility. And I think that they see that utility in B-Pro and the protocol. And in doing video collaborations, interviews, etc., preparation is definitely key to results. So the more that we've learned at least, the more that you prepare for each of these interviews with these influencers, you definitely get a better product out of it if you come fully prepared and they don't really have to do much legwork. All right, any questions on this one? All right. All right, so for the next steps, need to focus on differentiating the message. And this was kind of like what Ramarua was saying. V2 only, Liquidity 100, future integrations need to be the focus of the squad and of the push for growth going forward. We need to make sure that we kind of explain to the community that there is a V2, but that we're focusing on that V1 kind of falls to the back burner. We need to involve more community members in growth. That includes feedback, ideas, possibly like a bring a friend program to the DAO to try to increase our reach as well as our creative ability. We need to increase our content distribution network now that the content has been created. Since we worked with Creator DAO, we've gotten a lot of really quality content. They made great memes and videos, some great threads that came out of that cooperative effort. And I think that really the distribution network is something that we need to either work with them or work with our community or work with new outlets to try to expand. We should work with the community to create incentives to share content. I think that's key, as well as the ambassador program. I think both of these are really important to try to get new users actually interacting as opposed to kind of sitting on the sidelines. Because if we got our entire community involved, I'm pretty sure we would make a lot of noise in the crypto space. Make information about the protocol and KPIs more accessible to future users. I do think we need to get some better dashboards when it comes to easy access to how many people are in liquidity pools and how much money is available in those pools. I think that'll make projects feel a little more comfortable integrating with us and expand our offerings, which I definitely think is important. And explore more avenues of growth. Hackathons and events are definitely important. In real life, events are, I think, key to kind of getting people's attention. I think if we don't actually get in front of them in person, that it's kind of hard to get in their Twitter feed or, in their digital life. So contests are also an option on that. And going forward, I think we'll come up with some good contests. All right, any questions on this one or comments? All right. And then action items, decisions to be made. So what are we going to do with the remaining growth funds? We have some B-Pro and some USDC on Polygon currently that still hasn't been spent. So we have to kind of figure out going forward how we're going to allocate those funds and what we're going to focus on. The next Growth Squad membership, we're looking to expand, of course. Anybody who wants to join the Growth Squad, we're going to start an onboarding process and kind of get a time commitment from them as far as what they're available for, the ways they want to contribute, basically trying to expand the amount of people working to grow the protocol. And I believe that's about it. Any questions, guys? Stop sharing.
I think some of the main the main things looking forward. First of all, thanks for covering all all these things. And I think, looking forward, and we've discussed it internally a bit, taking the barrier to entry, getting more members to join the efforts to grow the attention about B.Protocol in the wider DeFi ecosystem. What we've one of the suggestions was to open a coordinate circle. We already had coordinate joining in one of our previous community calls, and the guy kind of gave us a walkthrough of coordinate and how it works, and many other DAOs are using it to kind of distribute funds between contributors. And I think we can do the same for the growth. And it's not only for pure marketing, or I think things like Onkentless was showing us those graphs and the dashboard that he made. I think this is something definitely can be rewarded and considered as a contribution, as well as the growth squad itself is managing those thing and keeping the funds and taking decisions and the time for that. So I think that can be kind of integrated into one proposal, and just open that, and let anyone who wants to contribute just have it easier to entry, and just do whatever they can. And we need to find out a way to get how people can actually take cards, for example, from Trello, like things that is there like a list of items, of action items that want to be made, and how they can pick it from there, and and just do it or contribute for that to be achieved.
Yeah, I definitely think that we need to work on like a process to make action items kind of easier for the community to just step in and work on. I definitely think that's a good idea. But the coordinate went really well with Creator DAO. I actually really enjoyed the experience, and I think it will kind of help move us forward. I think Tragedy Struck, you were also involved in voting, right? How'd you like it?
Yeah, I tried the coordinate during our growth period as well, and I was a bit skeptical of how it would work out, but it's really grown on me, and the experience from the Creator DAO I think was great. It's just there's not that much fuss throughout the epoch, but at the end you have this they provided a great summary of what was done, and then you got to sort of distribute your points as you wish from your own sort of feeling about how each participant's contribution, how valuable it was. And I think it's great. And as long as we have sort of open doors to joining and sort of invite people in as much as we can, I think we can get more people on board to contributing to the growth of B.Protocol, really.
Yeah, I agree. I think that part of it's just giving them the incentives to, because I think it's confusing right now. A lot of people don't realize that. I mean, you guys can earn B-Pro and rewards by helping grow the protocol. So once more people see that, and once we kind of democratize that process of giving out those rewards through Coordinate, I think people are going to start really stepping up and seeing it.
If you guys like, I can add in a few things here. I've been in a lot of communities, and I've seen a lot of different like systems and how communities try to get how protocols and projects try to get their community to provide some contribution, right? And for the most part, like money talks, right? Like not so much like you will get paid, but if they have skin in the game, that's usually the biggest thing. Like you would see people really work hard when they've got a big bag of tokens and the price is down. I'm not saying like that's something you guys want to happen, but that's like when people really start, motoring away and working hard because they want their bags to recover, right? The coordinate works really well for small groups where you everybody knows what everybody's doing, But as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it gets harder for you to like know like, oh, what is this guy doing? What is this guy doing? And then it requires like education on people to tell other people what they did. Like in the coordinate, you can put a small profile of like a little description of what you did. But it's like in Creator DAO, we have that job board where it clearly shows like deliverable items that we've all done, and you can just go there and you can just take a quick glance and see. So this is a little bit harder, but you don't want to create work for the work. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like, hey, you got to make a report on everything you did, and then everybody has to read that report, and then they can give gives. So so in like Yearn, where Coordinate came out of, they do it more like very organic. That their motto or their philosophy of Coordinape is don't give gives to everybody, just give gives to the people who you know did stuff. And then in the end, it should all work out. You know what I mean? Like if everyone has that same mentality where it's like, oh, I know these 3 people, we worked on stuff, so I'm going to give him, 30, I'm going to give him 40, and I'm going to give him 20 or whatever, right? Whatever points they think is good, instead of giving to everybody. They found that this works really well, especially in huge circles. Like somebody who's making memes doesn't know that, this other guy did a PR request and, you know, updated a typo in the front end or something. You know what I mean? And you don't want them to have to know that. So this is one of the other things that Creator DAO's Coordinate doesn't have this issue, because we don't have a website that requires this kind of technical side as well as a content side, marketing side. So, just allow them to know that they can give to only the people they know who did work of value. And then again, just like what you were saying, having an actionable job board that is easy to use. This is very important. Like people go there and they don't see like a long description. Like people are super lazy. They don't want to read anything, right? So like, yeah, so it's just like a couple lines of like make a meme about, the value of blah blah blah. And then you guys can like be like, yeah, that's like the more content you get, the better. Like even if it's not bad, even if it's not like awesome, it's still better than
Nothing.
nothing, because people will see it. And if it's coming out of your official Twitter, then that might not be so good, right? But if it's coming out of like one of your community members, and you're just like, oh, thanks for shouting out, and then you share through them, you share them because community members, thanks for shouting out, or you even just in your Discord, and I'll let a few other people share it out. Things can, like, you'd be surprised at how something that's really bad actually is quite viral. Like, you know what I mean? Like something that's so cringe, but it just, people like it, because they're bored. People, so many people with so much money, they're so bored, they just want to be entertained. And then when they're entertained, then they'll be like, oh, okay, I'm going to look at what is this B.Protocol thing and maybe try to invest. I think though, with your protocol, the key thing about you is like people need to understand that they can make money by using it. And why? Because you're adding contract risk a little bit, right? Not a terrible one, right? But you are adding some smart contract risk. So, savvy, big money people are going to be like, oh, why would I take on this extra risk unless it's quite apparent? So this is probably the key thing that you want to push towards people, to get these more usage, more deposits via your platform. These are just the thoughts I came up with as I was listening to you guys chat. Anyhow?
Yeah, I appreciate the thoughts though. I think you're correct that that a lot of it is risk that kind of holds money back from entering new projects, and I think that's one of the reasons that like money follows kind of investments from the bigger players in the space oftentimes, just because they're like, oh, these guys believe in this protocol, therefore I should really, obviously they've done their the research and everything like that. So I think it is important though, everything you said, as far as trying to explain to them in an easy way how they can contribute firstly, and also give them reasons to kind of take the risk to join a new project. Yeah.
Yeah, one other comment that I made to the smaller group before is that B.Protocol doesn't really compare to pretty much any other protocol. So there is a lot of lending protocols, there's a lot of whatever NFTs and this and that, but there's not a comparable protocol. So I think that is part of the problem of raising awareness, because people don't have a quick benchmark of this is like uh, something else, right? And so I think we struggled a little with the message at the beginning, and definitely we need to continue focusing on that part and make it easier for people to understand.
I completely agree, by the way.
So I think also that we can, first of all, the message is all the time, is being kind of, as you mentioned before, is being articulated as we go and as we get more experience from, interacting with users, with our protocols, with content creators, with other professionals, IDunks. So I think this is fine, and as we grow and as we get more and more integrations and different angles to what a backstop in DeFi actually does, we get the message crafted for that. There was one other thing I wanted to say, but it slipped my mind right now. So
I do have a question that Yaron may be able to mention. In the past, we've mentioned a couple times about some of these V2 integrations plugging into yield farms. I was wondering if we are moving, like, is that in the works currently, or are we still pushing towards the V2 kind of farm integration type thing?
yeah, Dunk, your mic is not muted, so we can hear you. So for the integrations, yeah. So first of all, it takes longer on some aspects. It takes longer than we expected with some of them. Different integrations takes different times. For example, with 100, it was kind of pretty straightforward. It took us, I think, a few weeks, from the first call, until we got it launched on mainnet. So it was pretty fast on any kind of perspective. MakerDAO, still in the works, been published on their forum, and as we anticipated, these things takes time. Abracadabra, which we pushed kind of hard, and it actually passed, the vote, kind of, I don't know, got stuck on their side. They lately, posted, Daniel from Abracadabra posted something about a backstop on Wonderland that they're doing. I think it was the first time anyone in DeFi, except of B.Protocol, actually mentioned the backstop, as a term, and in the context of creating better capital efficiency and kind of securing the platform together. And so I think in a way it's a positive thing, but currently, at least, the integration with Abracadabra over meme for liquidation doesn't seem to actually going through. And we keep on, reaching out to protocols for integrations. I think this is one of the main things that we do. And there's some more things brewing up, but still kind of, we're still trying to figure out how it's going to work. So we don't want just to, announce the announcement. So we're just waiting a little bit more to see if actually things are actually being made, and then we can go out with it.
That makes sense. I just occasionally try to pull the alpha out, so I like to know what's going on. But excellent. I appreciate the update. That stinks though that mem fell through, because I was excited about that one. Hopefully it will change in the future though. I think that as we grow, more people are going to see the benefit and come in here.
Well, yeah, so maybe, so again, as Aidan mentioned, it's not that it's really a secret, but it's just not something mature. I mean, we can share some of the things we work on, right? I mean, we just don't want to announce them, like before they actually happen. But we can say now the team is working, towards kind of building new markets rather than only integrating with new markets. Things around this flavor. So we are doing some adjustment in the code with that and talking with some potential partners. So this is basically what we try to do now, in parallel to, also aiming for new integrations. But yeah, so we also try to become maybe a bit more active and try to actively push for new markets and build markets together rather than only find markets that will integrate us.
I like it.
No, just to clarify, because we find out, every time we make a step forward, and we realize what are kind of, what keeps us from growing faster. And one of the things is exactly that, those integrations that, we need to depend on other protocols to actually integrate us. And it takes time, it takes efforts from the other side. And, as Cesar mentioned before, people are lazy, but it's not about only laziness. It's about, everyone is so busy in DeFi, and projects have roadmaps, and kind of, suddenly, even if it's a really cool solution that can actually benefit, both the protocol and its users, it's still like changes, and changes either takes time, they have some risks, they need, to consider them. And by holding, kind of taking that, finding a way to go around that and still offer a backstop solution, for DeFi users. So this is kind of what we're looking for currently. Okay, if there are any, I don't know, questions or suggestions, or maybe if we can kind of, we'll probably take that to the forum and to Discord after the call. But maybe just if we can summarize somehow, next steps. I know, Tragedy, if you wanna talk about what we discussed before. I think first of all, maybe one of the things that I realized that we had a lot of discussions internally, like the squad itself. We have this group that we're discussing stuff, and I realized just lately, we need to make those discussions as public as possible, and that will help also others to kind of join in. And also, I think we'll bring some more kind of fresh air into our Discord, more discussions being held and things like that. So I will try more to put more discussions on the growth channel mainly, kind of to bring in more people into the discussions, and yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you're saying kind of use the growth channel as opposed to the growth squad channel going forward with some of these conversations?
Yes, I think one of the main things that we found out that we need more hands. We want more people to join in and contribute, and I think there is at least a few members show they're interested in contributing, and people joining into the Trello board that we opened. And as we will make more and more discussions, in the public channels, more and more members will be able to join in and catch up on what's going on and contribute.
Go ahead.
Yes. I've been thinking about creating a Discord server for business development people. So, like, trying to get one or two or more representatives from as many protocols as possible in a server. And I think it could be a good way to speed up the like the process of getting deals done, getting things done. So I don't know if I do start one, I'll send an invite through to Ethan.
Sure, sounds great.
And do you guys have any? Obviously, you guys like done stuff with UMA, and I know that the super UMANs are like really super active with their growth and business development and stuff like that. So I was just wondering, I'm thinking of for Creator DAO, I'm thinking of how we can partner with the super UMANs to do better at business development. And I was wondering if you guys like had any ideas about how, because obviously like when people are going out and talking to protocols and stuff like that, like it doesn't hurt to also, mention friends that, where it's appropriate, if you know what I mean. So maybe there's some ways to like leverage
So
each other's networks more.
yeah, so we are in touch with Duma and have close relationship with the team members there. I think superhumans are, they found a good kind of slogan for themselves, and they are kind of involved in things that are happening, with whatever UMA products. And when we announced, for example, our KPI option with them, they kind of boosted out. But yeah, it has its limits, and still protocols are kind of interested in stuff that is relevant for them specifically. So yeah, it's always good to have good friends. It always helps.
I'm thinking like because some protocol, like for example, Creator DAO works with lots of different protocols, and B.Protocol works with lots of different protocols, and so does UMA, right? It's just the nature of that's kind of the business model. So I guess for projects like ours, it's obviously like super important. So yeah, just an observation really more than anything. Yeah.
I do think that the unified server approach would be like a business connection server. I do like that idea, Dunks. So I would definitely reach out whenever you choose to take that path.
Yeah, awesome. I think I'm going to get it set up. So, yeah, cool.
So I guess going back to the next step part, I guess we could take the coordinate discussion and sort of get a framework around it, and then discuss more with the community as a whole in the growth channel.
Yeah, I think that can work. That can work out. I think it's a kind of a low hanging fruit, meaning the coordinate is there. It seems to work for other protocols and other DAOs to kind of distribute some rewards for contributors. And yeah, I think we can also get coordinate to kind of help us push that out, just as we did with UMA on the KPI option. So that's also another benefit. And yeah, and as when we started, I think we had on the first growth call, we mentioned this kind of being an experiment, the squad itself as a concept for the DAO to kind of test how is it to work in a more decentralized way, getting more members to get involved and to actually contribute to the DAO, to the protocol. And as for myself, being part of the team, I think summarizing it these last 3 months, I think it's and I told it also to the growth squad members in an internal call that we had, it was a successful experiment. We learned a lot. I think going forward, we can take lots of those lessons and put them to work and get better. And yeah, I think that's the way to go forward, and just experiment as much as we can with new channels. Yeah.
And I think, so now for the sort of, I know, technical, but not only technical discussions with this coordinate, I think it's important to try to have these discussions on the public growth channel and in general, and we discussed it a bit before, to have more discussions on the public channel rather than the private one. This will also give more chance to other people to join, or also to know what's going on. So unless we have some secrets, etc., it will be best to discuss it on the public channel.
Yeah, we just mentioned that before. All right.
Okay.
Any more questions or suggestions or ideas that anyone wants to put up for discussions? We can of course take it into the text channels later, but yeah, here is also a good place. Okay, cool. So thanks everyone for participating. Thanks for the current squad. Well, we haven't discussed the rewards for the current squad, but I guess we can take it over on the text channel of the growth. And yeah, let's continue the discussions, and maybe have another call next year in about 3 weeks or so, and try to put down the infrastructure for the next cycle of the squad during those weeks. And Happy New Year for everyone.
Yeah, Happy New Year, happy holidays to those that celebrate.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.